I put having a coffin art exhibition on my bucket list in 2006. That was the year I got cancer the third time, and it was malignant. I decided to face my greatest fear, dying, by planning a funeral that would help my two girls, who were 6 and 13 at the time, to celebrate my life. I started to think about planning my funeral more like buying a car, and I realised if I went to Holden, they wouldn't tell me about Ford, and vice versa. While I was discovering all the choices that I had for my funeral and coffin, naturally I was sharing them with family and friends. Many people would then join in my excitement and say, "Oh wow, I wish I'd known about that when Dad died." So I actually started to help people find out about all their choices, and I think of myself as the RACQ. I thought really hard about what was the most confronting part of a funeral, and I decided for me it was a coffin sitting out the front. Being a scrapbooker, I decided that I wanted everyone to bring photos and memorabilia and bits and pieces and glue them on my coffin during the service when the time comes. I thought about my girls being a part of that, laughing and talking with everybody, and that gave me a lot of comfort and peace. The exhibition opened first at the Croy Butter Factory, and it was the most successful exhibition in terms of the number of people who came through the door. I remember one husband and wife came on the day that was the 9th anniversary of when their son had died of cancer, and one of the things that he had wanted at the time was a cardboard coffin, and it wasn't available. When they read about the exhibition, they were so excited because their son had said to them at the time, "Don't worry, I know that one day everyone's going to be using cardboard coffins."
When you look at what people want in a coffin, a lot of people have said that they'd want something, like nature or flowers or bright or something happy, so that seemed to be the thing to do. They're just shapes. I mean, it's just an excuse to put bright colours together, and I just sort of make it up as I go along. So I put in some shapes and then put in other shapes around them, and until it all got filled up. Glitter. It's got a sparkle. It has to have some sparkle in it. Like I know it's not really a traditional artistic tool, but I enjoy things that sparkle and have bright colours. So
death itself is a journey, and that there's that sense of being transported forward towards out back to a creator. I wanted to depict that sense of peace and being drawn towards the light. So I felt that the boat was just such a, just that very calm drifting with the boat was very apt. And there's a Celtic prayer that I was inspired by that says, "My God, my boat is so small, but the sea is so large." And so I wanted to depict that.
I used Livistonia australis palms because they're very abundant on my property. I've always looked at them and gone, they're too beautiful, what can I do with them? I immediately knew that I would use fibre and not paint. I wanted to use it specifically to create a blanket for a sort of a welcoming feel. I used the palm, the frond that has the berries, to put into the centre of a wreath, but I didn't want anything to look like the usual coffin, so I used the spiral shape, which is made out of the peacock feathers, and that's because the spiral is the most ancient shape in our subconscious.
Bruce was one of the 7 artists that decorated a cardboard coffin. Bruce is 56 years old and lives with Down syndrome. Bruce's bright, intricate patterns are influenced by our Indigenous culture. He spent 3 months working on his coffin.
I did it impressionistic, based on one of my favourite artists, which is Vida Lay. She was a Queensland artist and in the 1800s. Hers is Monday morning, which is wash day every Monday morning. Back in the old days, they used to do washing on that day with the coppers and everything, and that's a part of it. So I've done it sort of to suit farm life.
And I remembered back to the stories my father used to tell me about ancient Greece and Rome and Egypt, and the thought came to me of the tombs and the pyramids and the beautiful decorations that they used to do on their coffins, and I thought that was the appropriate one to do for my coffin. It's a falcon, and it's one of the revered birds in ancient Egypt. The Wejat, W-D-J-A-T, and that's also the god Horus. It's a symbol for him, and it comes up a lot in Egyptian writings and their hieroglyphics, and also in their tomb paintings. It's the wings of two of their goddesses, and they're wrapped protectively around the coffin.
I used a theme of mine that I do a lot of work on called From Little Things Big Things Grow, and I use that because it's a philosophy that I really believe in. So I thought that it's quite fitting for a coffin, because that person inside that coffin has been on a journey, and everything that they've done and said has been a seed that they've planted for a journey throughout their life. The circle is the seed pod, okay? That's where the seed starts, and there's many seeds because of all the choices that we have to make in our life. And that seed then sprouts into a branch, which is the journey, and then the leaf, the beautiful green leaf at the end, is the end of that journey and is the consequence, I believe, of that action.
So I hope everyone can see how unique a coffin can be, how uplifting they can be, how they can celebrate someone's life, and how, even in death, we can give something back to the earth.